Hello Mavinians, welcome to a new video of cardiovascular system. In the previous video, we have studied the layers, the structure and the blood flow of heart. Today's video is about the wall and its functioning. So before moving to the function part, let me tell you about the walls. If you are talking about heart wall, the walls which are present in the heart, we are having two types of wall. First one is your AV walls and second is your semilunar walls. Speaking about the AV walls are present in between artery and the ventricles, and the main function is to prevent the backflow of blood from ventricles to the artery during the process of systole. Now, second one is your semilunar walls, which are present in your aorta and pulmonary arteries. Now, the main function of these walls is to prevent backflow of blood from the pulmonary artery and the aorta during the process of diastole. So this is all about the wall. Now, we have already studied in the previous chapter or previous lesson that opening and the closing of the walls is a passive process. Why we are calling it a passive process? Because it occurs because of the pressure gradient that is exerted by the blood in the chambers. Like suppose the blood is moving from artery to the ventricle is because of the pressure which is exerted by the blood in that chamber, and that is being pushed to the ventricles. Now, second thing, the AV walls and the semilunar walls both are different from each other in terms of anatomy also and in terms of functions also. Now, if you will notice that the role of AV walls is much lighter than the semilunar walls, because they have to bear a less pressure, or they have to bear a lesser pressure than as compared to that of the semilunar walls. Okay. Now, studying the function of the papillary muscles, that what is the function of papillary muscles in the opening and the closing of the walls. Now, papillary muscles, when the papillary muscles constrict, the constriction of the papillary muscles is depend on the ventricles. So when the constriction of the ventricles will lead to the constriction of papillary muscles. If you can see the diagram, let me show you in the diagram. See, these are the papillary muscles. I'm highlighting it with the red color, which are attached to the ventricle side. You can see my cursor also. And these are attached to cornea tendineae. These are cornea tendineae. I'm highlighting it with the red color, if you can see it. These are the cornea tendineae. When the contraction of these ventricles will take place, the papillary muscles will also constrict. And this constriction in the papillary muscles will lead, it will pull the cornea tendineae, which is present, which is attached to the wall. You can see the flaps, the wall, the veils of the walls. You can see the flaps of the wall. These are the walls. Now, when the constriction in the papillary muscles will take place, these will pull it inside. Generally, it is said that when the ventricle constrict or the systole, during the ventricle systole, the walls close. Actually, it is not closing. The constriction of these walls is leading to the constriction of papillary muscles, which is pulling these walls downward, inward, toward the ventricles, so that it is preventing the over bulging of this area. So this exactly happens when the constriction, or this is how the closing of the walls takes place. These cornea tendineae are pulled downwards, and this is causing the closing of this area. So it is preventing. And second thing is that if suppose there is any abnormality in the cornea tendineae and the papillary muscle, suppose there is any rupture, or there is any, if there is any rupture, or there is any injury, or there is any palsy in the papillary muscles, then what will happen? This will lead to the loosening of these walls, and then that time backflow can take place from here to the atrium. This is a ventricle part, this is the atrium part. So that time when there is any rupture or any palsy in the papillary muscle, that time the backflow can take place and the blood can move toward the atrium in the critical case. Or in the initial case, what can happen? It can make these flaps bulging. It can cause bulging in the walls, which can cause your blood incapacity or blood insufficiency. Yeah. Okay. So this is how the papillary muscles are taking playing a very important role in opening and the closing of the AV walls. Now moving to the another one, that is your aortic and the pulmonary walls. So here are two things is to be considered while we are studying that how this opening opening and the closing of pulmonary and the aortic walls take place. That is because of the high pressure exerted by blood, that is during the end of systole. Now when I'm saying that end of systole, when there will be systolic when there will be systole at the ventricles, then that time the opening of these two walls takes place with the pressure which is exerted during the end of systole. Now the same for the closer of these, when there will be end of systole in the arteries, that time the closure of aortic and pulmonary walls will takes place. Pulmonary walls will takes place. Okay, so first thing is that the high pressure which is leading to the opening and the closing of this these walls. Second thing is here that the openings of these walls are very narrowed as compared to that of the your AV walls. So these walls are more prone to abrasions. So structurally they are much adapted to bear any such trauma or any mechanical abrasions. That's why these are different from the AV walls, your arterioventricular walls. So this much for this video, and in next video we are going to study the conduction system of heart. So stay tuned. You are kindly requested to hit like button if you like my video. If there is any comment or if there is any video you want me to share, just please comment me on comment section, and please subscribe my channel, that is your Marvin Tutorials. Stay safe, take care. We'll be seeing you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.